This is live coverage of Hurricane Irma. My county has recently been issued a flood warning. What that means is that we're expecting at least 6 to 12 inches of rain, maybe more, and that flood warning is in effect until 12:45 p.m., which means most flood deaths occur in cars, so they advise you not to be on the road. My balcony already looks like a small lake or a river canal. It's completely flooded. I've never seen so much water in my life. It was just violently raining so badly that I was actually scared because it was pounding my window like it was going to crash through. The warning for the flood warning is in effect for my county, and you will see the occasional car drive by, which is crazy to me. But the flood warning is in effect for my entire county. That includes at least 3 towns and cities I know of. And I'm on the East Coast, so we really lucked out because Hurricane Irma's eye is going to be going west of Florida, like the Keys, and then upward, and will affect places like Tampa. But as you can see, I have very violent rain. And last night we had a tornado in a city that's south of me called Fort Pierce. And even though we're above Fort Pierce, they issued that tornado warning because it could move up here. And those can destroy homes, wood homes, or any kind of small building or home, or even a big one if it's a big enough tornado. So this is basically Hurricane Irma we're going through. We had originally made a plan to be picked up by somebody that had storm shutters who was going to someone else's house, and they were friends of ours that it's a long story, but my relative had helped them put up storm shutters, and it's more across town, more inland, but being that we're more towards the coast, we're supposedly safer because more inland is more towards the center of the hurricane. But of course, everybody near the shore is going to get a surge. Now, we're not literally on the beach, but we're still west of US 1. I'm sorry, east of US 1, not west. And anything that's east of US 1, I'm sure, is a flood warning zone. So, we did have heavy rains last year that lasted for what seemed like months, and it destroyed 7 people's cars where I worked. I mean, some of these cars are worth $35,000 or more. There's a cop just drove by. So I'm going to show you some other angles of the storm, if I can. So we go over here, you'll see the flooding on the balcony, which I don't know if this can even do it justice, if you can actually see that or not. It is so deep. It is so deep, the water already. I've never seen this balcony flood like that. Never seen anything like that. Like the water that's flooding on this balcony right now. Never seen anything like that. And I'm going to show you another part of the storm, Irma. This is Hurricane Irma 2007. Okay, this is Sunday. Hurricane Irma, rain strength. The violence. Our lights just flickered, which means we're about to lose power. Our lights are flickering. So let's go over here. Some more of the storm. That tree I had trimmed during Hurricane Matthew, it was pounding my windows so severely, like it was going to crash through them. It's a miracle it didn't, because these storm windows only can handle up to 73 miles an hour wind. So if that eye had come over here, I would have lost my roof. My windows would have crashed in and then suctioned back out. Everything in here would have been a loss. So here's another part, another area. This is a side of it. This is actually, over here is actually facing, there's my lovely companion, Kimmy. Say good morning, Kimmy. Say good morning. Having a good day? Mommy's little baby just woke up, a little sleepyhead. Yeah, she's like, don't bother me, Mommy. I'm not awake yet. So anyway, good thing my dog turned 9 August 1st this year, so she's kind of losing her hearing. So she's not... Normally this barometric pressure and everything happening would have her a little bit anxiety ridden and panicked, but she's getting older, so that's probably a good thing. Anyway, so we have a rain flood warning, which I guess is not as bad as the full impact of the storm, because I don't think this area could have prepared for that. But I also believe that the government officials, whoever allegedly is responsible for this weather control, weather modification, geoengineering, cloud seeding, these 4 hurricanes, the Hurricane Harvey in Texas, then Hurricane Irma, then Hurricane Katia in Mexico, and Hurricane Jose right behind Irma from Africa. I don't think it's a coincidence at all. I don't know if it's a government experiment. I don't know if it's related to FEMA camps or martial law, but I know that President Trump did send the U.S. Marines and the U.S. Navy ships here to help save Americans after the recovery of this hurricane, which I'm really grateful for, because unlike Obama bin Laden, who's out playing golf, President Trump is actually shows his concern and his care for Americans. And he also has a home or second home or one of his home estates on Florida on the East Coast. But I think they diverted the storm. If those planes were going in or navigating it, I think they may have possibly diverted the storm to get away from the East Coast, because remember, we have a lot of nuclear reactors on the East Coast along the coastlines, even more south than here. And not only that, but we have NASA that's farther up north on the East Coast here, the John F. Kennedy Space Center, the Cape Canaveral giant military base. And so, I mean, all you have to do is really piece the puzzles together and think about it, folks. But they could have easily diverted it because of that. And the weather is now controlled. We've done this since the Vietnam War. When we wanted to cause monsoon rains against the enemy, we went in and did cloud seeding, and it worked very effectively then. So we've been doing weather control, and the late President John F. Kennedy talked about weather control, and that was a new way of the new world here, which is, you know, weaponizing the weather weaponizing, or weather weaponry, against our enemies. And I believe when the chemtrail pilots, before or during their missions or after, I don't know, before probably, they show them video footage, I learned this from YouTube, showing them the destruction that would happen to our homeland if they did not participate in this, which includes dropping heavy metals on us, unidentified blood DNA, etc., things that can be toxic to the environment, to the air, to the food supply, to the plants, to mammals, to us, to the water supply, to the soil, ruining the pH balance, destroying it, etc., etc. The list goes on and on and on. I'm not sure if they knew in the early, mid, or late 1990s when they started this whole thing, but I know that they've been spraying chemtrails in all NATO countries. So it looks like the storm, this heavy rains have dissipated a bit, which is good, because when they first issued that warning, that this flood warning is in effect till 12:45, I looked at the clock in my kitchen and it was only 9:45 a.m. So that gives you an idea of how long we're expecting these very heavy downpours of flooding type rain. But the winds have died off a little bit here. I mean, when I walked my dog yesterday, the gusts of wind were scary a few times, and I saw many leaves fallen from trees or from palms or trees or bushes or shrubs fallen like that. Looks like one that fell over there, because I've never seen a clump like that I don't know if you can see it, just sitting there. I don't know what that is. There's not usually like a bush there, so that fell off something. That's like a clump of a tree. But anyway, just showing you a little bit of Hurricane Irma. I'm gonna wait until I actually get more footage when it's severe and scary when I'm inside this dwelling. But I will show you again, get off the small little couch and show you some aftermath of the flooding. Which I don't know if you can tell, but this is like a lake out here.